Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Mindset Model podcast. And today I am absolutely delighted and ecstatic going to add that on there, to have an incredible guest today. We have got Jessi Coletti, who is a manifestation mentor. Don't I bring you the best guests ever? So, welcome to the show, Jessi.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm just so tickled to be here. Isn't it always a treat to be with Sarah? Like anyone that gets to be with Sarah for a few minutes
Oh
is
my goodness
best.
me. Jessi, you are too kind. The reason why, of course, because you're a sensational person, but the reason why that I had to have you as an expert guest on the show is to talk about manifestation. So first of all, please tell us a little bit about you, Jessi. When did you discover manifestation? And then I shall lead into some more fantastic questions, which I know my listeners will be very, very keen to find out. So take it away.
All right. Well, I think I saw The Secret in 2008 or so, and I started to really want to believe that. I
Oh,
thought,
yeah.
if that could really be true, I would love to see if that's true. And I played around with it for years. I've been studying mindset for years. So as I saw them kind of mesh together, started learning, started growing. But I mean, I didn't see it and really understand. I thought you had to manifest from being positive all the time. I didn't understand that manifestation is not according to your mood, but it's your state of being, your vibration.
Absolutely. That's such a common misconception, isn't it? And I'm going to ask you about some myths as well on this podcast because I know there's loads of people that'll be asking. So, The Secret, that first drew you in. Were you a little bit skeptical at first? And what did your family and friends think?
No, I wasn't skeptical. It was my mom that showed me the movie. And I think
Your
my
mum
husband was like,
showed you.
you know, isn't that great?
That's amazing. So, your mum already kind of knew about manifestation before you did and introduced you to it.
Probably.
Wow. And then what
Yeah.
did your husband say?
Oh, I can't remember. I don't know if you watched part of it with me. And I think another common misconception is people think you just have to think about it, but you never have to take action. So I think that was the part. He's like, yeah, no, I think you still need to take action. But he's like, but what if it was true? So I just marinated it in my mind for years, several years. Sometimes I'd see things that were little signs that it's like, oh, see, it's working.
Is that how you started off? So doing like little things, using the power of your mind, and then tell us a little bit more about how you got into
Yeah, and
manifestation.
that's probably it's just been a while. At the time, so I'm a musician and I was teaching private lessons, private piano lessons. I had a full studio for years and just loved what I did and eventually I grew and decided I didn't love it anymore and I wanted to do something else that I loved. I wanted to work different hours. So I started an essential oil business with network marketing because I love natural health. It's another one of my passions. And my mentor there said, your business will grow as fast as you grow.
Ooh.
So I made it a regular part of my daily routine to make sure I was reading, watching, or listening to something to change my thinking, to create identity, etc. And that worked really well. I think I rank advanced 5 times in 5 years. So every year was getting to the next rank. And then somehow I just kind of hit this ceiling.
Yes, we know the ceiling very well.
No, the ceiling. And I was like, what's going on? I mean, everything I'm doing that worked last year is not working this year. And I'm just staying stuck in that stagnant feeling of, I'm still stuck. I'm just not progressing. That feeling of not progressing as humans, I guess there's some people it doesn't bother them, but most of us just have this innate desire to move forward,
Yeah.
progress. So I remember talking to several other people at my same level in my company, and they're like, oh, yeah, we have coaches. And I had I'd studied with several different coaches, gone to events in different cities, seminars, but I had never paid what they were paying. Like that was a higher level,
Yeah.
10, 20, $30,000. to work with a higher coach. And I'm like, no, I completely shut down. I said, nope, I made it this far. Without that, I can keep going. So I actually went a whole nother year, kind of still stuck at that same spot. And I had followed Bob Proctor ever since The Secret.
Same
So
here. Yeah.
there's been so many people that have greatly influenced me, so many great leaders, thinkers. Anyway, through Bob, I guess I should say during the time with my piano studio and growing my business, I was doing a lot of fertility treatments. I did about 10 years of
Wow.
fertility. I had some dark and angry years as well, and I give myself so much love and grace for those times. I'm getting emotional as I think about it. But I remember thinking, I guess I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. If I can only be perfect, then I would probably be good enough to have this desire, which of course is false. But so then I worked to be the perfect person and say yes to everyone and burn myself out and bend over backwards to please make everyone happy. Everyone, everyone, everyone. To prove I grew up really religious and I still am Christian, but I just had this false idea that if I could prove to God
Yeah.
that I was worthy, then he would know I was good enough to have kids. And the story turned out great. Like I have a biological son and an adopted son. So I got to experience two amazing births. Like I'm so blessed to have those two different experiences. But even after I got what I wanted, that story stayed.
Mm.
I had to be perfect. I had to please people. I'm not good enough. Um, anyway, where was I going? So growing my network marketing business, following Bob, I eventually found, oh, that's what it was. He had a lady speak named Kathleen, is who I work with now, Kathleen Cameron. And she was talking about how she was 300 pounds, weighed 300 pounds, and she believed at one time that she had to be thin and fit in order to have success. And then she changed that belief, started loving her body and every part of it, and it opened miracles for her. And it was one of those moments where I felt like the Lord just spoke to me and he said, you are choosing to believe that you're broken and that you're not worthy because of the infertility. And we can all find something.
We
If we look enough,
absolutely can.
some
Jessi,
people it's like I'm too old or I have a limp or I've got a gap in my teeth, like whatever it is, you can create a story that is the thing that's keeping you limited.
that is such an incredibly inspiring story. And I know that there'll be people listening to this right now that are potentially in the same position as you or have had experiences. I know most humans on the planet have had experiences where they feel like they are not good enough and they are not worthy and they have to work harder and be better and do more when that is not the case at all. You are already worthy and you are already loved. And this is why, manifestation is so powerful. I absolutely adore Kathleen Cameron as well. I'm delighted to be in her energy. But before we go any further, because there might be some people listening that are like, what even is manifestation? What are these ladies banging on about? So, Jessi, in your own words, how would you define manifestation?
I believe it's becoming aware of something so that thing's already there, it's already available for you, but you're just not aware of it yet.
Mm. And for anybody who is listening to this right now, wanting to manifest, what would you say? I'm just going to throw you a curveball question here because just while it comes to me, where could they start to, really build their belief around manifestation?
That's a really good question. I would start listening and studying, and I would just ask myself, do I desire this?
Mm.
Maybe it's not even resonating with you, and that's okay. There's literally 10,000 different pathways to success and to getting what you want. So if it doesn't resonate, there's another path for you. But if
And
it does, and you're curious, I would definitely look up a book, look up some YouTube videos, start learning about it.
That's incredible piece of advice because that's how we all started off with manifestation. It was those gentle nudges, those desires to find out a little bit more. Now, Jessi, I've known you for quite a few years now. Is it like 3 years?
Probably.
Oh my goodness me. We've become such dear friends, and we've, followed each other's journey. Now, I had to tell the listeners about something really exciting that you did. Was it last year, the year before? Was it like 50 things that scare you?
52. I wanted to do one each week.
So, 52 things that scared you. Why on earth did you do this? What is this all about?
Great question. I want to say one other thing about manifestation
Oh,
that's,
yes.
if I could,
Yes, please.
going all over the place, but it's a couple good examples are like the Wright brothers. They learned how to fly. The ability to fly, like the way to do it was already there, but they had to search to find it and become aware of it. What you want in your life is here and it's available for you, but it's not in your awareness yet. So I've had so many things come to me that wouldn't have been in my awareness. Who is it? The consciousness bias. I'm sure you've heard that, where you never see the red Toyota on the road till you buy one, and then they're everywhere.
Yes.
It's not that they weren't there before. You just weren't aware. When I started, I painted my whole house. I wanted new colors. I go into every business and every house and I look at the lines to see if they painted like how straight the lines were, if they between the ceiling and the because now I'm aware
Yeah.
what it takes to paint a straight line.
Yeah. Awareness is not one of the, well, I suppose it would be one of the biggest ways to really bring your desires to life. Awareness is the first step. Absolutely. If anything else pops up, please blurt it out.
Yeah, just one last thing. So I started
Yeah.
writing down, I just picked 5 things that I really wanted. I wanted to not be on such a tight grocery budget because I wanted fancy cheese. I wanted to go on a trip to Puerto Rico with some friends. I
Yes.
wanted to hire someone to clean my house.
Oh,
I wanted to be a professional musician, someone that gets paid to perform and write instead of always feeling like I needed to do it for free because didn't have the
mm.
self-worth enough. And then, oh, and I wanted my business to double. So with 5 things, I just started thinking and writing them every day. I'm so thankful now that I get to buy that fancy cheese. I think I'm actually going to get like the rosemary parmesan this time, and I'm going to get some crackers, and it's going to go together. Oh, it's just so delightful. And for the trip, I think a Wednesday or a Thursday, I'm not sure. I'm going to look at flights. Maybe I'd prefer Wednesday morning. I'm going to see which ones works best for me. And I was just in this energy of it's all done. It's already happened. And like each thing came in such a roundabout, crazy way. Do you want me to share one example?
Please,
Because
yes.
once you're writing this stuff down, once you're thinking it, once you're being that person, then you have to be open to any way it shows up. So I'm like, okay, I want someone to clean my house every week. I looked up some companies. It was $400 or $500 a month. It was more than I felt like I wanted to pay at the time. So I was just like, I'm so grateful that I found the perfect situation to have someone clean my house. And I happened to be talking to a neighbor one day, and she introduced me to another lady that lived in our neighborhood. We got to be friends, started seeing each other out and about a few times. Happened to be chatting one day, and she was a single mom. She's darling, had a little girl. She's like, yeah, things are going so good. I'm at the point if I could just make an extra $100 a month, then I'd be golden. I said, well, that's awesome. What do you love to do? And she said, my mom taught me how to clean, and I love to clean houses.
What? No way.
I was like, like how much would you charge? And we worked out a price $25 an hour. So for 1 hour a week, she would make $100 and I would have my house cleaned. And it was just so perfect and such a win-win for both of us that if I'd been only focused on it has to be this certain way, it has to be a cleaning company, I wouldn't have been open or aware of our conversation. It wouldn't have even clicked for me.
That
So
is an
that's what I mean by the awareness.
incredible story. And it really highlights that quite a lot of people are really fixed on having something, but in a certain way. And it only has to happen that way. But like you said earlier, there's millions and billions of different ways that things can come to you, but you just have to be open to receive it and have that awareness. Oh, I want you to share more of these wins. But first of all,
Yes.
tell us 52 things that scare you. Why did you do this?
So this was such a fun project. So ended up doubling my business. All five of the things on my list came true that year,
That
with
year,
the end of the year.
just in the year. Wow.
By the end of the year, like it was a whole year, Sarah.
But five things, like they're quite big things.
And
Well,
isn't that
depending
funny
on,
how you said it's only a year, and I said, but it was a whole year? 1 year, are we making it feel long or are we making it feel short? It was only a year, but it was a whole year.
very interesting.
So then I was ready to grow again. It was probably a year or so later. I eventually became a coach, got certified, and I was talking to Kathleen's husband, and he has a coach who every week they had to report what they did that was uncomfortable. And he explained that we have like all these limits in our mind, and every time we do one thing that's uncomfortable, it's like pushes through one of those. And I was like, seriously? What if I could push through 52 limits in a whole year, every single week? And so I felt just so strongly about it, like, oh my word, this is my next growth. This is going to quantum leap me again. I'm going to double my business again. This is going to be amazing. And it was. So I made a list of 52 things, and every week, some were quicker, some were longer. I did a flash mob in the mall. I created a dance. I performed sang a solo, and I'm not a singer, I'm not a dancer. I chopped 14 inches off my hair. I did a 3 day like water fast, did cold plunging, like anything that came to me that I would start to feel that feeling that's uncomfortable, I'd say yes.
Wow.
And I would do it just to reach my 52. In fact, my social media following grew huge. If you want to grow your social media, everyone's curious all around town. People say, what are you doing next? What are you doing next that's uncomfortable? So,
It's so bold and courageous. Did it really help to build your confidence as well?
oh, so much. So much. Because now, whenever I get that tingly feeling, I used to shy away from that and go the other direction. Now I say that's the direction I need to go.
You run towards it. Anytime something scares you, you're like, right, that is for me. Let's go. And that is incredible because, as a confidence coach myself, I always say to my clients that if there is something which you really want to do, but it scares you, you absolutely have to do it. And confidence comes when you do those things which are uncomfortable because then you're proving to yourself that you can do it. Not that you need to prove yourself to anyone except yourself. Accept
Exactly.
yourself. Absolutely.
Yeah, one of
So,
the things I did,
yeah.
just give you an example, I dressed up in a ridiculous outfit for the whole day. I had a t-shirt and snow pants, my bathrobe, and a helmet and some sunglasses. So it was the most ridiculous outfit, but I had several calls with clients, potential clients. I went, like, ran 3 or 4 different errands. I went out to dinner, like, made sure I was out and about and doing a bunch of things that day. And the first few hours, I was so self-conscious and I felt like I had to explain myself to everyone. And then about halfway through the day, it was like, whoop, everything just disappeared. And I just walked around town, did all my business, grocery shopping, went to dinner. No one said anything. Like they'd smile at me, and I'm sure they were wondering, but I just didn't care anymore.
There's a really powerful hidden message in what you did there because a lot of people are very conscious of the way that they come across, the way they look, what they're wearing. And you really push the boundaries there by, putting on, an ensemble which, isn't standard wear. And what's really interesting is to start off with, you did feel a little bit uncomfortable, but then it just disappeared. That's really, really interesting.
And when you don't have to explain yourself to anyone, That's a lot of freedom.
That really is.
That is
And
some massive freedom.
that is huge because there's so many people which feel like they do have to explain themselves and excuse themselves when
Mhm.
actually you don't. So that is so powerful. So thank you so much for explaining your 52 things. And I really hope this inspires anyone listening to maybe do a few scary things yourself and see how you're feeling after a few weeks or a year. I would love, Jessi, you to tell me about some of your biggest wins. You've already told us about, 5 things which were on your manifesting list. But is there anything else at all, which maybe something that you thought was completely and utterly impossible, not for you, but you've got it now?
So many things. So many things. I ended up doubling my business. Then I wasn't quite to $10,000 in a month, and I really wanted $10,000 a month.
Wow.
And I was focused on that. I'm like, I'm so grateful I bring in 10,000 every month. And I started to have this idea came to me, you can Airbnb your house while you're on out of town. And I was like, no, 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 because I want it to come through my business. I want to inspire my team and I want it this way.
Okay, so we're going back to this limited ideas, yeah.
Yeah. So like the next few weeks it came again, you should Airbnb your house while you're out of town. It's like, yeah, but I'd have to kind of clean it up again and register on the website and I'd have to look into all that. So that's okay. No thanks. About the third time, I was like, oh, wait, is this my intuition? Maybe I'm being inspired. So I actually did it and we brought in enough. I think it paid like the majority of our vacation in the first
Wow.
place. And that was my first $10,000 month with my regular business plus that. So now I'm just like, I mean, anything I want, I just say, oh, I'm so grateful. Another couple big ones is I'm so thankful to take my family on this humanitarian mission trip. So that happened last year.
Tell us more.
And I wanted to take my older son to Europe. We
Yeah,
really wanted to do like a go through Europe, um, see a bunch of countries type of trip.
yeah,
And it wasn't looking like we had the money. It wasn't looking like we could get the time off, like my husband's job. The schedule wasn't working with my son's schedule. And people were like, yeah, that's a pretty big deal. Like, why don't you just go somewhere local? But in my head, I just kept picturing his face on Christmas Day when he opened that ticket and what he was going to say and how
yeah.
excited he was going to be. So Neville Goddard talks about ignoring the 5 senses, ignoring circumstances because they're not the truth. That's not the truth of who you are. You know, the truth comes from inside. So it was so good for me. I saw that as an opportunity to ignore all of
Yeah.
the not enough money, not enough time. Why am I thinking so big? And just go into what made me so excited. When we're so excited about something, it's raising our vibration and the pathway is opening up. And just piece by piece, the schedule actually ended up working out. We found something, a compromise. Then we got the tickets and then we booked the trains and then we booked the where we're staying and then we mapped it all out. So piece by piece, it always comes together. And it always does. If you look at your life, if you're as old as me, in your 40s, think about all the times you've wanted something and it's actually come together when you didn't think it would. When we want something bad enough, we are going to find a way and it will always come. So I like to look at the evidence in my
Mhm.
past to give me faith that it can happen in the future as well.
That's some really great hints and tips there. And going back to what you were saying earlier about the Wright brothers, like they had this dream and this desire to create, let's face it, back in the day, something which is going to fly in the air and carry people. The most
And
ridiculous idea ever, but they believed and they created that. So no matter how impossible your dreams seem, they will happen. They absolutely will when you just really lean into that faith. And I love the way that you really explained your stories there as well. How when you let go the how of something's going to happen, let it go and just surrender and be like, it's going to happen. Don't know how, but it just is. That is when the magic happens. Incredible. So what else have you won? Like what other wins have you had in your life? I just need you to tell me about going on a private jet.
Okay, I'm like, what do
Like
you want to hear about? There's so many.
there's too many. We would literally be here for hours and hours. Actually, it's so funny. Before even this call started, I said to Jessie, it was like, how much time have you blocked out? Because I feel like we're going to be talking for a while. Um, a private jet. Now, most people can only ever dream of going on a private charter jet, but you have been on one. Can you tell us how, why, what happened, and all that good stuff so we can
Yeah.
visualize it and be there with you? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was amazing. I have a new standard for travel.
Oh,
Absolutely. And did you know it's a lot less than you think? Because in my head I thought, oh, 25, 50,000
yeah.
private jet. But if you get a leg, like someone's booked the first leg and you get the after leg, it's discounted just so they can get back to their place.
Holy moly.
I
No
know.
way.
So it
Okay.
only ended up being like around $12,000
Oh my goodness.
for the whole leg. I know, not even 20, not even 50.
Okay, so we're starting to build a little bit more of, oh, okay, this could happen.
But I will say, I first had to get to an identity of someone that would fly first class, really.
What do you mean by
Took
identity?
me
Because I love the word identity, but what do you mean?
like someone that can justify that money, someone that's excited to invest that money in themselves, that knows that they're worthy, that knows that they're like everyone. Seriously, airplanes should have only first class because every single person I wish knew that they were good enough. And when I say identity, it's just what you think of yourself in your head. Like, what if so many people wanted first class that the airplanes had to remodel because
Wow.
the demand was so high? Because every time you help one person raise their awareness and their consciousness, it's a ripple. They affect everyone else around you. So something that drives me that I get up every morning so excited to get out of bed is to raise the conscious level of one more person.
That's incredible.
I forgot where
And
I was going with that.
we no, we're going deep into the identity because this is incredible. And this is where we get really quite deep into the manifestation world that so many people are walking around with an identity that doesn't suit their goals, dreams, and desires. They feel like they're not good enough, so they're acting as if they can't have the things, and that's how they see themselves. And what you're doing with what you do as a manifestation mentor is you're helping people see that they absolutely can raise your identity, raise how you see yourself. And that is when everything changes. So we've gone on a massive tangent there, and I love it. We were talking about the private jet.
Right. But
So you,
identity, I mean, truly, when I was doing fertility, I had this box on my head. Like, I would have ideas come to me and say, yeah, but I'm not good enough, but this is why it wouldn't work. And I don't have the resources and I might not have time. And I would completely shut off, cancel whatever that inspiration was that came. So when you take off the lid and you're open to everything that comes to you, I I just believe that God wants us to be the most expansive, most powerful, most successful, most progressive person we could be. But in my identity that I wasn't good enough to, have this baby wasn't meant I wasn't good enough in all these other areas. So I would literally stop all of the ideas and the inspiration that came. And I was fighting for my limitations. Like I would prove, nope, I'm poor. I remember even telling my friends, like apologizing. We went out to eat, but we had a gift card. Like I would never spend money on going out to eat. I always explained, I have a gift card, and that means I'll
Mm.
go out to eat.
Really?
So I talk to a lot of people who are stuck in just fighting for what they're comfortable with, and that's okay because they don't see it yet, but they will.
I bet that's really exciting for you as well because you know what's coming and you're like, oh, just you wait. So
So
just
yeah, the private jet,
yeah, yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Um, I remember the first time I flew first class and just feeling like, oh yeah, of course I know how to get the food tray out. Yeah. I'm looking around trying to figure out how everyone has a food tray and not me.
Yeah.
Finally, I leaned over and I was like, you know how all planes are different? How did you find your food tray? And they're in these little cupboard things. You have to open the levers and
Okay.
take it out. But I didn't want to say this is my first time in first class because in my head, it wasn't my first time. I
Yeah.
had been there so many times in my head. In fact, I remember every time getting on a plane, once I had started entertaining the idea of first class, every time I got on and I would walk past first class, I'd be like, oh, I'm so glad I ride first class. I'm
Wow.
so glad that I have this elevated experience in my life and that I'd go sit way in the back. But I had created it so many times in my mind, it really didn't feel like the first time.
What I just want to go back as well, because what a lot of the words and the language that you're using is possibly quite new to some people,
Mm.
but you really describe like frequency and energy and a lot of work with manifestation. I call it work, it's not work, but a lot of like changing and shifting is about the feeling and the emotion. And you've really described how you really feel. Could you tell us a little bit more about energy and frequencies and what that has to do with manifestation?
Yeah, well, Neville Goddard wrote a book called Feeling is the Secret. And it truly is because we said we don't manifest from our mood, we manifest from who we are, our state of being. So the more times you can convince yourself that whatever you want, XYZ, that flying first class is already happening for you, that trip or the fancy cheese, the more you feel the feeling that it's already here now. Like, I'm just so grateful I have it now. Then that raises your vibrational frequency to
Mm.
match what you have or what you wanted. And like I said, there's 1,000 ways to get to your goals. Like, you can get to whatever it is working really hard too, both ways. But if you bring in the emotion, match the frequency, it's almost like call it dual forces. The
Yeah.
goals meet halfway, and you meet a woman that happens to be your neighbor that loves to clean at a fourth of the price that you would have paid for the company. And that's when you match what you want. Your identity matches what you want, and it feels so much easier.
The effortless way. That's what we love, isn't it, Jessie?
The effortless way doesn't mean no effort, but it's less effort. And there's times when you're super hungry or tired, and one little thing will happen in your day and it just derails your whole day.
We've all been there.
Right. But when you're at a higher level of awareness, those same things, I see the same things happen in my life today, and I barely noticed. But 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I would have been talking to all my friends for the whole week about how mad I was. But now it's like, oh, interesting. And it's gone. Like, it just, when you can grow your awareness, those things don't even derail you. It's your reactions to life.
That's incredible growth. And can you imagine if every single human on the planet had that level of awareness and that level of growth where those little things didn't matter and
Mhm.
everything was just an observation and like, oh, okay, what can I learn from that? What can I take away from that?
Exactly.
So, for anyone who has probably got some questions, and they're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. What would you say to somebody that doesn't believe in manifestation? Because I know for a fact that manifestation is not going away. It's not something that you turn on and off, which some people believe that's a myth. Oh, I'm going to just go and manifest now. It's like, my love, your man, like it's a thing, you know. What would you say to somebody that didn't believe about manifestation?
If it's someone that wants to know more, I would say nurture that desire. If it's someone that doesn't want to, that's okay.
That is
Love
absolutely
it. Like
okay.
I love to have fun. I love to laugh. I love to have a good time, whatever I'm doing. And knowing that everything's meeting me halfway gets me so excited.
That's
So
incredible.
I would, and I also just say start with something little. If you love hummingbirds or lizards or numbers, pick something that is going to be your sign and then see if you start seeing it everywhere. Like if you're
Ooh.
so skeptical and you don't really want to do it, but maybe just have fun with it. Play a little game. I know some people that love 111 or 6 or 222. Kathleen loves butterflies.
Yeah.
I love to just have a shift. Like I said, I love to realize something happened today that it happened years ago and I freaked out. And today I didn't freak out. Like to me, all of those are signs. They're all wins.
The synchronicities, the signs, and it's really, like you say, making it fun, taking the seriousness out of it and being like,
Mhm.
wouldn't it be fun if today somebody bought me some roses or, do you know, just little things that could happen. And then they happen. Again, it is about building that confidence and that faith that you actually have the power. And something which I picked up that you said earlier is everything comes from within. And it took me years to really understand this because so many people live from their five senses, what's actually happening. But how, like, could you explain that a little bit more about what coming from within is about?
Yeah, I think it's taking time to be quiet. It's not being so busy because
Mm,
you're avoiding all those feelings that you don't want to dig up. Like working with Kathleen, there was days I cried all day.
really?
Some anger, there was resentment. I was like, "Hey, this is justified. I'm keeping these ones." Nope. I'll let go of some stuff, but I had to, and so I sometimes avoided like answering journal questions or watching a video or the feelings that came up. I'm like,
Mm.
nope, stuff them back down, stuff them back down. And I finally had to ask myself, do I want to keep holding on to the resentment and the anger, or do I want to be free? And do I want to create?
Asking
So,
yourself those questions and noticing, because we are very good at ignoring things or hiding, and sometimes we don't actually realize that we are avoiding things as well until you pause and take that moment to have that quietness, and you actually realize, why am I avoiding that? And there's always a hidden something.
because if you imagine, let's say there's 20 people and you have a rope around them and you're trying to take the 20 people with you everywhere you go, that's a lot of work. It's really heavy.
Yeah.
But what if, like, through forgiving each person, blessing them, sending them love, praying for them, what if you can let go of each one at a time, one at a time? Like, can you see how much faster your progress is going to be?
I love
Just there
that
was some beliefs
analogy.
that I was holding on to that like I just didn't feel worthy. And this is why, like, I have evidence. And my sister-in-law who can get pregnant whenever she wanted, I was mad. Plus some other things like
Yeah,
things that people had done or said that
yeah,
really hurt me. And I was like, if I let it go, then I'm letting them off the hook. But what if they were hurting too?
yeah.
And do the best that they can. And do they really care that I'm holding on to this anyway? No. I had to choose. I feel like the Lord, He showed me a vision once. He said, you know what, you can go on the path you're on, and no matter what happens in your life, you'll be 90 years old and you'll be bitter
Yeah.
and angry and full of disease. Or you can choose another path and have an amazing life. But you have to be willing to let go of those feelings, the resentment, the
And
anger, the judgments, like letting go of judgments towards others and yourself. I mean, it's a mirror. I noticed that the more I was judging myself all those years, the more I judged outward. But when I dug it all out, started loving who I was, like I can't remember the last time I was offended. It's just not even in my awareness now. Like if someone does something mean, I think, oh, bless them. What would cause them to do that? I just feel sad that they're in a hurtful place. So that's what I mean by going within.
that is incredible. And I love a key word that you said there as well is you choose. And everyone has a choice on how they react or what they want to believe in. Nobody can go into our minds and tell us what to think or what to believe. We choose that. We really do. So that is an incredible explanation of going inward. And I'm sure there's many people listening right now which are holding on to a lot of resentment, bad feeling. And I love the description that you gave where, having 20 people in a rope, letting them go, because it is only slowing you down at the end of it. And this is your life and you've got to live it. Incredible. So, Jessie, I want to find out a little bit more about what you do. Tell us about, I mean, I want you to tell us about House of Manifestation and all the amazing things that you do, but otherwise I'll be talking too much. So you go.
Well, I do want to add one more thing from
Oh,
before.
please. Yes.
So when I was working with Kathleen and her program and digging out that junk, I remember really like crying for 2 days, letting go of some situations and people that I had felt resentment towards, and just feeling so free and so light, like it took off another layer of emotional baggage. But it was only about a week or two. Within a week or two, like three brand new clients fell out of the blue into my lap. And I was like, oh,
That's
wow.
interesting.
So you're saying that when I open up this space energetically, it invites more of what I want? So that I became very committed to every time I felt a resentment or frustration or annoyance even towards someone that I'm letting it go so fast. Because we all block ourselves from receiving what we want. You can, within 2 or 3 seconds of meeting someone energetically, you can sometimes know. You're like, yeah, we're going to be friends, or nope.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's because of their energy.
Yeah.
So when you let it all go, you're just open up, you have all this room. You're not so crowded and stuffed with all the feelings.
It's like when you start to make those conscious choices, more energetically aligned people start coming into your life. Like I noticed this, especially over the last year. And when you do change the way that you feel and you let go of those things, all of a sudden, the most incredible people just come into your life. Like, how? But it makes sense.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Let's see. So what did you ask?
Tell us a little bit about. So there might be some people listening now thinking, wow, I love what Jessie is talking about. Maybe curious, want to know more. So what do you do? Like, where can we find you? Tell us a bit of House of Manifestation as well, because that's fantastic.
Excellent. Yes. So eventually I certified as a mentor. I wanted to help people. I still have my essential oil business. I still do a lot of music. I actually ended up becoming an artist too. I just realized I like to paint
Love this
and this
creativity.
store, yeah, a local store reached out and said, "Oh, I want to sell your stuff in our store." Like crazy from someone who was so unworthy before.
Wow.
So, eventually I was like, I really understand how this works. I want to teach people to do this. And then Kathleen had some open spots on her team. So I work with her every day, which is so much fun, which
Yeah.
is, I think, how we met because you came to one of our events.
I did, yes. And again, I've got to tell this story because it's mental. It So this time last year, literally this week, I was in Egypt and
So
I
sweet.
was, yeah, this week. And I remember just flicking through Facebook because I've always been like, oh, I'd love to meet Jessi and Kathleen. All of a sudden, this notification came up to say that you were going to be in London on in March. I was like, no way. You cannot even make this up. And the day that you were in London, like, was a day that I was off as well. Like, it could not have. And then all of a sudden, and can you remember we were at the hotel and I was sat there and I saw you coming in. I went, Jessi! And I came running towards you. Oh my
And
goodness
this
me.
beautiful angel in the in vibrant green, and you were so much taller than I thought. Like you were just expansive, and that was such a special moment.
Incredible day. And what's really interesting is from that day onwards, I mean, the following day is when I registered the mindset model as my beautiful brand. And then from then on, everything has just snowballed like incredibly. And this is just such evidence that when you allow yourself to be around people that I call, you and Kathleen, like expanders, like evidence of growth, everything changes.
Mhm. And also, like you said, when you're around it a lot, in my normal circle of people in my community, sometimes I'm with people who are looking at all the evidence around them that of why things don't work.
Yes.
You ask someone what you
Yes.
want to do in life, they tell you, but this is why I can't do it. And so sometimes we feel like we're different and we're like, no one else believes in expanding. So, but when you can come into a community and everyone around you is growing and everyone's celebrating their growth, it's like, psh, it feels normal to you. You start again to create that identity that it's normal to have wins every single day and aha moments and success every single day. And then you start to become more aware of it and you see it.
That is exactly why I was so drawn to being in your energy, watching everything Kathleen was doing, even back in the day with Bob Proctor, because when you start noticing, actually life can be really good. It can be quite challenging when you are around lots of people which don't quite have that same mindset. And you can feel a little bit weird. I was like, am I literally a crazy person? When I was like learning about everything to do with mindset and manifestation. And you've created a community where it feels enlightening and safe to talk about, and there's like-minded people elevating each other. It's incredible.
So yeah, so I work with Kathleen. She had a vision of a private jet with 5 members of her team, and we all had to qualify and do these certain things. We had to grow, we had
Yes.
to expand. So I was able to go with her in January on a private jet for my first time. And we worked together and I mean, if you're looking to grow, there's House of Manifestation. We have programs from $200 all the way to 200,000. So if you want to
Incredible.
grow, we also have podcast and free events. If you want to just dip your toe in and see what it's all about, Kathleen Cameron Manifests is on Instagram. And I'm on Instagram, Jessi Grigg Coletti. I tried spelling that.
I'm going
You
to
can
put it in
have
the show
it
notes.
the link in the, yeah, yeah. But we'd
Absolutely
love to
incredible.
connect.
So, Jessi, this has been, and there's even no words to describe this. I've loved having you on the show so much. And if anybody wants to reach out to Jessi, get in her energy, I will leave all of the details in the show notes. But thank you so much.
Sarah, absolute treat. I just adore you.
This has been amazing. So I hope this has inspired whoever is watching and listening to dive a bit more into the possibilities, to dive into the power of your mind and manifestation. Thank you so much, everyone, and I will see you in the next episode.